In this tutorial, you're going to learn how to make this half semicircle wall hanging. In the description below are links to tutorials for all the knots used in this video. There's also a tutorial for the diamond pattern. Fold the first 1 meter length in half equally and then attach to the center of the dowel with the lark's head knot. Fold the next cord in half equally and attach the dowel next to the first cord. Take the first cord and put it aside. So that next cord that's hanging there, do double clove hitch knots to the right. If you need a tutorial on the double clove hitch knot, see the link in the description below. Now attach that end piece to the dowel with the lark's head knot. So you go over the top, around the back, down, through that opening, pull it close to that lark's head knot next to it, and then take the end again, around the back, down, through the opening, and fasten that, and then just make adjustments to even out the location of those double clove hitch knots. Bring the left cord back down. Now take your next 1 meter length and fold it in half, attach to the right of the cords with the lark's head knot. Set the right hand cord out of the way. Now go from the right to the left, doing double clove hitch knots. Now attach the end to the dowel with the lark's head knot. And adjust those double clove hitches if you need to even them out. Bring the right hand cord back into play. Take the next 1 meter length, fold it in half, attach to the left with the lark's head knot. Now using the left hand cord, go from the left to the right doing double clove hitches. About halfway along, take your 60 centimeter length, attach it to the cord with the reverse lark's head knot. If you don't do this step, you're going to have not enough double clove hitches to make it a smooth transition. There'll be a gap. And then continue with your double clove hitches. Now attach the end with the lark's head knot. In the description below, cord lengths are listed by each row. The next one, the second row, I'm doing in this dusty rose, and this is going to be a square knot section. You want to take your 160 centimeter length and have 50 centimeters of it hanging on the inside as the filler cord, and then the longer length on the outside. Do the same thing with the next lark's head. The 50 centimeter end is going to be on the inside, and the 110 centimeters is going to be on the outside. The two filler cords are shorter and the outside cords are longer. Now this row is going to be square knots, and you do want this to curve slightly going this way. So what I do is I make the inside of the square knot a little bit tighter than the outside. It's very subtle. If you want a tutorial for the square knot, see the link in the description below. Just gonna go back and forth doing the square knot. It's going to be hard for you to see what I'm doing, but that inside is just going to be slightly tighter than the outside. As I'm tying the knots by keeping the inside a little bit tighter than the outside, it's going to help curve it along this line. See, if I let go, you can see it has a slight curve. I like to have my square knots hug quite tightly to the double clove hitch rows above. So I'm going to stop here. You have all these cords that you're going to want to hide in the back. What I do is do 2 of the lengths of the square knot first, pull them behind. Now I'm going to take the one cord from the outside. I'm going to pull it around so it's going to mimic the look of the lark's head knot. I flip my work around. And these are those first 2 cords that I'm trying to wrap around and make them look like a lark's head knot. So I'm just going to tie them in a knot at the back. Just 1, 2 just regular overhand knots. So I've got my 2 regular overhand knots that I'm just going to trim them here. And then I'll add a little dab of craft glue or fabric glue on those knots just to prevent them from undoing in the future. And this is how I end up tying all the knots at the back. I'm actually going to take the white cords that ended the previous section. I'm also going to tie them in a knot.
And the
This is how I'm going to secure all the knots at the back of this wall hanging. At this point, I'm going to just trim all these white cords because the look for this macrame wall hanging, I don't want to see them hanging below. So I'm just going to trim them all so they're hidden behind the pink cords. I'm going to tie these two cords the same as the ones next to it so that from the front they look like a lark's head knot. For the next section, section 3, have the inside cord 60 centimeters and the outside length 130 centimeters. This section will be square knots just like the previous section. Do the same thing you did in the previous section by keeping the inside knots slightly tighter than the outside knots to help it curve with the semicircle. Now that I'm at this point with my knots, I'm going to attach these cords to the dowel the same way I did this previous section. The next section is the 4th row. It's going to be the half hitch spiral knot. I'm going to teach you how to do that now. If you'd like further instruction on how to do the half hitch spiral knot, see the link for a tutorial in the description below. Take your 360 centimeter length. It's not going to be folded equally. You want the short end to be able to do the half circle and then have enough length at the end to attach to the dowel with the lark's head knot. It's about 60 centimeters. Attach the cord to the dowel with the lark's head knot, keeping the short side on the right. This right cord is the short cord, the left side is long. Take the left cord, the long length, make a loop coming from the left to the right. So the cord is coming from the left to the right, going over top of itself. Now, take the short length, put it over the top of the loop, and pull it through to the back. And then pull that snug. So again, take the long length, make the loop to the left, over itself to the right, take the short cord through the front to the back, and pull it snug. So keep doing it the way I showed you for a few knots. The long cord has shifted from the right to the left. Now you need to do the knot in reverse just for one knot. Make the loop from the right to the left and the cord is going to be behind itself. And then take the short cord from behind, put it behind the loop, pull it through the opening, and now pull it snug. And really I find I just have to do one like that, and now the long cord is to the right again. So the next one, go in front of itself, take the short cord and pull it through. And you're going to see the spiral is going to form. Now the cords come to the left again. Make the loop from the right to the left going behind itself. Put the short cord behind the loop and then pull it through to the front. And again, I find I only need to do one of those. And then that's on the right again. So the cord to the left over top of the front of itself, and then the short cord from the front to the back. Just keep doing this until it's long enough to reach to the other side. You can see how the spiral is forming. As I go, I like to check once in a while to see how far I'm coming across the half moon, and then just keep going till you reach the end. So now my half spiral reaches the other side. Now attach the cords on the right-hand side, just like you did with the 2 square knot rows. Now do the exact same thing with the half hitch spiral on the 5th row. For the 6th row, I'm going to do the Dusty Rose square knot again. It's the same as this one here. It's just a longer length. Do the same thing as keeping one end shorter, making sure it can do the half circle, and then tie 2 of these on and do the square knots. And then tie onto the dowel at the end, just the same way we did all of these ones. So now that I have that section all knotted up, I'm going to attach it on the right-hand side. For the 7th row, we're going to do the exact same thing we just did in the previous row, except this time the lengths are going to be 350 centimeters long, and I would leave about 70 centimeters for the short length. For the 8th row, attach 3 6-meter lengths folded equally in half to the dowel using the lark's head knot. Now we're going to do the diamond pattern for the last row. I have done a tutorial on this pattern. See the link in the description below. I will go over it now. Take the 4th cord over from the left and do diagonal clove hitches on the angle to the left. Now with the 4th cord over, do diagonal clove hitches to the right. Take the 4 cords in the middle and do a square knot. Take the left-hand cord and do diagonal clove hitches towards the center with the next 2 cords. Take the cord on the right and do diagonal clove hitches towards the center using the next 2 cords. Keeping the same cord as the filler cord, use 1 cord over and do a double clove hitch to close up the diamond. Take the 4th cord over and do double clove hitches towards the right. I'm going to hold this here and I'm going to close it in right about this point. Now I'll do the top of the other diamond and I'm going to leave this cord slightly longer than this one. This will help to curve the diamonds with the semicircle. So this one's slightly shorter than this one. Now finish the diamond the same way as the one above. Now continue doing this until you've reached the other side. Every time, keep this side a little bit shorter than this side to follow the curve. I did 12 diamonds to make it to the other side. You may have more or less, depending how tight you do your knots. Now we'll attach these ends to the dowel, just like we did all these other ones. Now we attach the fringe using the lark's head knot with the 50 centimeter lengths, attaching 3 to each of the loops. The next step is to comb out the fringe. So I'm just gonna go 2 cords at a time. I like to use a dog brush. I just find these bristles are the best way to comb out fringe. I like to hold the cord while I comb, and I comb the cords out 2 by 2. I like to use a metal comb to get the parts up close to the lark's head knot. And I'll just keep combing out 2 cords at a time. And now I'll use this rotary cutter to cut the edge. This is much easier, I find, than scissors. I have a large cutting mat here, and with this, you'll see how easy it is. Just gonna start at the bottom here. I'll do the same thing on the other side. Pull all those little pieces away, and I'll just go in and I'll trim those ones that didn't get cut through. Now I'll go with another comb.